Hello everybody, welcome to a Minecraft tier list, where today we are rating everything that was added with Minecraft 1.21.5. Now this won't include anything like the crazy technical changes, but I will lump them all together towards the end. And if you do like this kind of content, don't forget to subscribe, like it, and comment to let me know, as well as what you might like to see me do next as another tier list with Minecraft in mind. Now, without further ado, I think we're going to get started, jump right in to Firefly Bushes. Since these are first, this is the easiest S tier of my life. These were teased a few years ago now, and they are just the most, like, they have this unique look, they have the particles, like, look at this. This is my favorite little bug. I love you. You're gone. I love you now. You're gone. Okay. But these are going to add so much ambience to Minecraft, and I, for one, cannot wait to see it. Up next, we've got Leaf Litter. Leaf Litter is... oh, it's another S tier, actually. Leaf Litter is one of those crazy things that you expect to see in the game and have expected for a long time, and naturally it would be there, but this is going to improve people's builds so much. So if I just build a quick tree, boom, tree. And now all of a sudden, there's lots of leaves lying around. It makes this entire area, even with the one single leaf that's still on the tree, it makes it look so much more lived in, and like, it looks so much more natural. And I am so excited to see these being added to Minecraft and for people to use these for a lot of their different builds. Up next, we've got wildflowers and bushes. Wildflowers, I feel like I've written, like, I feel like I've already labeled all of these. Oh no, they're not all in the same place. Okay, so wildflowers are again another S tier. I think these are going to be such a great change to Minecraft, and I'm really happy to start seeing more of these orientable flowers, like the pink petals and the leaf litter, added to Minecraft, and they just look so gorgeous. And I might be slightly biased by having a dandelion meadow that I'm going to be spamming these all over in my hardcore world, but I genuinely love these kinds of additions to the game, which creates new and interesting ways to work with builds and to make so detail-oriented things. Like, I can have these flower blocks over 2 blocks. Same amount of petals, different orientation, and even here I can do something like 6. And then here as well, it's just like you can make this, you can customize these so precisely that it's so difficult to put them anywhere but S tier. Down in A tier, we're going to have bushes. Now, bushes are actually something I'm really happy about being added, because for the longest time we've just had the grass and the ferns as regular materials to use, but one of my favorite things about these is that you can bone meal them and they act just like glow lichen, where you can farm them this way. So if you have a dispenser hooked up to a couple of observers, then you can just spam these and that can be you farming bushes. They're nothing like crazy, they're just a new natural block that don't have much use other than aesthetic, so that's where they're going in A tier. Similarly, I'm going to be putting short dry grass and tall dry grass also in A tier, because while they are also just the same, adding in new versions and new plants to go, while they are similar to the bush in that they are just adding in another cosmetic plant to the game, these ones are adding life specifically to the desert and are adding to desert blocks. And I absolutely love these. These look fantastic, especially when you fly away and you can look off into the distance in the barren wasteland that is the super flat world that I made specifically for this video. It just adds so much. And if you can imagine this all over the place, it's creating so much more life and a good natural feel to the desert. So that's why they're in A tier. Cactus flowers, I'm a bit like on the fence about these. I think I'm going to put them in C tier for just now, because while they look great on actual cactus and the fact that they can grow doesn't interfere with cactus farms, I can't say I love them. I think they're going to look great as plants, and that's a good addition. It's another cosmetic. But I don't think we need yet another pink flower. We've got 16 different dyes, and we have got pretty much one for everyone, I think, except purple. So we've got Lily of the Valleys, and we've also got Bone Meal. We've got Oxeye Daisies, Azure Bluets. We've got the Closed Eye Blossoms. We've got Wither Roses and also Squids. We've got Cocoa Beans. We've got Roses, Poppies, and Red Tulips. We've got the Torch Flowers and Open Eye Blossoms. We've got Sunflowers. We've got Yellow. We've got the Dandelions. We've got Sea Pickles. We've got Cactus. We've got Pitcher Plants. We've got, I think that is Blue Orchids that give you light blue dye. We've got Lapis. We've got Cornflowers. We don't have anything for purple. We've got Lilacs and maybe Peonies as well. I know one of them gives you magenta. And then we've got Pink Petals. We've got Pink Tulips. We've got either the Peonies or the Lilacs. I know one of them gives you pink as well. I think it might be Peonies. And we're just adding another pink flower. And it makes the most sense for it being cactus flowers because this is actually what they're like in real life. But I just don't know if we need another pink flower right now. So I'm going to keep them down in C tier just because I think there were better choices with more flowers that people could make. Oh, we've also got the wildflowers that give you yellow dye now as well. So that's another one. So we're up to 3 for the yellow as well, which isn't necessary. But again, I'm biased because of my hardcore world. Now, up next, we're going to go with all of the mob variants. These are to symbolize the different mob variants. So we've got the pigs, the cow, the sheep, and the chickens. Now, I'm going to start us off with potentially a controversial one. Sheep are going in F tier. The variants that were made to sheep aren't really variants. They're just different spawning mechanics for... Wait, that's exactly what variants are. Okay, let me rephrase that. The variants that they've made for sheep feel lazier than the ones for chickens, cows, and pigs. I think that if they wanted to make the variants really, really stand out and be actual variants of sheep, they would have the cold variants have more wool, the warm variants have less wool, and the loot drops when shearing the sheep would reflect that. Now, I do think that they're taking a step in the right direction with the variants and making it possible to have these different animals in the game, but I just think that alongside the pigs and the cows, there are so many ways that they could have made them more different than just cosmetic. I do like the pig and the cow variants because when I was growing up, we would usually pass by some fields with Highland cows in them, which are exactly what the cold variant cows are, and I would always call them Mick-Moos. So we've got the Mick-Moos and the Mick-Bulls, and I personally really love them, but because of the fact that they are just simply cosmetic changes, I don't want to put them any higher than D tier. I think that to make the variants better would be to utilize the attributes that are in the game now. So you can now change things like your scale, your jump height, your speed. You can change all of these things, and I think that applying these to the cows, the pigs, the sheep, the chickens, all of that would make for a much more unique experience when experiencing all of the different mobs that are in the game, and would give you more of a reason to look out and create facilities for each of the different variations of the mobs, as opposed to just being like, cool, that's another one off the list. Even with the cold variants of pigs and cows, I would love to see a version where you could shear them, and you could potentially have like a fur, like a type of fur you could use for either armor, cosmetics, or even blocks if you want to put down a fur carpet or something if you're feeling particularly fancy. I would absolutely love that, but again, I just don't think they've put more thought into it than just the cosmetics. And I'm not slamming the cosmetics are great and I think they look fantastic. I just think that there could be more with them that could have been done. Now, the chickens I'm putting slightly above them because of the way they've added the eggs as well. See, this is the kind of functionality that I'm talking about with these. I do think that the attributes could still be different, but they've added some variation of the regular chickens and the way that they actually work to make it a bit separated from the rest of them. So it does feel like a little bit more thought has been put into the chickens than any of the other mobs within this update. Now, up next, we've got all of the different changes that I couldn't necessarily fit into one block, so I've renamed a bunch of things. And up first, we have the spawn egg texture overhaul. And I don't think anybody's going to complain in saying that this is an S tier change. This is such a good change that Mojang have made, because not only do the eggs look fantastic, speaking of which, if you want to see me do a tier list of all of the different spawn eggs, please let me know down in the comments, because I think that would be a lot of fun for me. But this is a win for accessibility, for people who are colorblind or maybe wasn't able to see many of the differences between the textures of the old egg. This looks great, and the artists did a wonderful job with these. I do absolutely love what they've done with these. I will say, when they first released these, I genuinely thought this was a shark. But anyway, so we're going to move on from that because I'm silly. And we're going to move on to lodestone recipe changes. So if you don't know, lodestones, as of right now, before this update, take 8 chiseled stone bricks and 1 netherite ingot. And the recipe change is changing the netherite ingot to an iron ingot. And because I'm a little salty about that, I'm going to put it in B tier. It is a great change, because it's going to make it so much more accessible for building. Like, I'm a builder at heart in Minecraft, and I'm going to be able to use these now in mass in order to make some really, really cool builds. But because I've used these for their actual function of using a compass on them to get a lodestone compass to be able to find your way around your world as little waystones, I've spent 2 or 3 netherite ingots in my hardcore world just on these, and it does feel a little bit of an undermining of it, which is, like, again, I am totally fine with this change. This is great, but I do feel like I have been shafted a little out of a few netherite. So that's the only reason why that's going in there. Up next, we have got fallen trees. This is a new structure that was added to the game and has been teased around the same time as the fireflies, where the concept art of the birch forest has shown logs on their side, and Mojang have finally introduced those. Now, I'm quite torn about these, but I do think that they are B or A in terms of a change. They're nothing drastic, but they are a cosmetic change. I think I'm going to put them down in B. Because, yeah, we're going to put it on its side as well, because that's the way that these trees work. Now, I do think that they are really great, because if there is an elevated tree trunk like this, this is how it will spawn. It will spawn on its side down at the closest possible flat surface. And I think that is a really, really good attention to detail. But because I've been waiting for so long for these kind of things to be introduced into the game, that's why it's not in A tier. Again, probably just because I'm a bit salty, and because it's nothing too crazy or it's not a new block. It's not adding anything new. It's just a change to the way that a structure is generated. Up next, we've got falling leaves. Now, this might be another controversial opinion here, but I'm going to put this in E tier. I think that the falling leaves are a great addition. However, I feel like Mojang haven't put too much thought into when there should be falling leaves. And let me show you an example of that. Spruce trees and spruce leaves should not have falling leaves, and even if they do, they shouldn't look like this. While the change in the tint is good for the leaves, I think that having the fallen leaves should be individual to the different trees. All of the leaves look like this, regardless of what tree it's from. And I don't think that's really good. I think that it should be dependent on the tree, and I don't think all the trees should actually have these fallen leaves. Similarly to, I think it should be in a situation where leaf litter spawns, that should be where the fallen leaves are. At least those trees anyway. Maybe I am biased to this because I have used a mod that does this for a good year now anyway, but again, that's just my opinion. If you have any different opinions, please let me know down in the comments. This is all subjective, and I know that I'm not going to be 100% agreed with, but, you know, be respectful with it. And let me know your opinions down in the comments. Now, up last, we have got technical changes. Now, I wasn't sure whether or not to include this, but there have been a lot of technical changes during this snapshot cycle. And as a result, I'm going to put this up in B tier. This is including things like the NBT data, changing the ways that you can now, I think you can now make it so that you can block with swords again. I think that's something you can do. But the main reason that this is going up here, and I have asked my redstone savvy friends about this, and it's the game tests. They've added in game tests. Do they have them here? Yep, they have test blocks now. And I think that this is like the main reason why this is a B tier change. It's B tier because it's not something I can understand. It's not something that a lot of people will understand. But for those of you that do understand it, this would be a good change to the game. And with that, that is my ranking for every major addition being made to Minecraft in 1.21.5. If you did like this, don't forget to leave a like and comment, and don't forget to subscribe as well. If you do want to see other content like this, I do go live on Twitch on my hardcore world, and I will be live streaming my reaction to Minecraft live on the 22nd of March. So if you would like to watch that, then pop along over to my Twitch. It will be in the description, and I will see you there. But until next time, goodbye!